Hello, everybody.
Hi, Weekly.
Hello, weeklies. Our little weeklies.
Yeah, you cutie. Anyway.
All right, anyways. Okay, so this is going to be a two-part episode. This is something that's very trendy that everyone is talking about,
Yep.
especially lately, the shift in the nutrition world and in the fitness world.
Yep.
We're going to be talking about veganism versus vegetarianism.
Versus Omnivore.
We're going to talk about veganism versus omnivores.
As a two-part topic. This is actually our first two-parter ever.
No.
Yeah.
We had a Patreon two-parter.
Yeah, but in the weekly.
Yes,
This
in our
is,
weekly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you guys like two-parters,
let us know.
let us know.
Yeah.
We're more than happy to do that because we know that sometimes there could be a lot of information.
Yeah.
But we try to compact it
Yes.
a lot.
Even this one, making it a two-parter is compacted.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
People make whole podcasts on
Podcasts
just
and
these topics. so-
documentaries on these type of things. But anyways, so yes, we are going to be comparing both diets. Yes, there are a ton of other diets out there, but this I think is the main one that people really want to learn about.
Yeah.
And we do touch a little bit on vegetarians, just a little bit.
Other ones, other common ones like vegetarianism,
Yeah.
pescatarian,
Yeah,
it's-
like very mildly.
Yeah.
But it's mainly vegan,
and
versus omnivore.
exactly.
So we are going to start off our episode with vegan.
in this book right here,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Thank you, Sarah Ballantyne. We had mentioned her previously. She just sent us now the hard copy of her book.
And so nice of you.
Hard
Thank
copy
you.
of her book. This book we can't.
It's so informative and just really, really easy to read.
Yeah, we can't rave about it enough. It's
Yeah.
amazing what she's been able to do. So if you're looking into changing the way you eat, learning more about the way you eat or change it for the better or whatever, this
And
great resource.
she's a like a New York Times bestseller.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. She knows what she's doing. I mean, it says it right here. And she sent this to us right before it was released. But by the time this recording comes out, it's already released. Go check it out. Check her out on all forms of social media. Just search her up right there, Sarah Ballantyne. You will find her. She is a great follow because she's always talking about exactly this, like nutrition and all
Yeah.
that. It's all scientifically based. Hard copy or soft copy, soft cover. What's wrong with me? Anyway.
Hard
Yeah.
or soft, whatever.
Yeah. Ooh, that's what she said. Or he said that. I'm not sure. Anyway.
That's all you.
You? Okay. Anyway.
Your interpretation.
Okay. So today, vegan diet versus omnivore.
And I mean, it's been a hot topic for a really long time.
I don't know why, like on my feed lately, it's been very people are against each other. There's this whole thing. And then
Well, I just think
Netflix-
that's TikTok in general.
Yeah.
We opened up social media
Yeah.
a very long time ago, and social media has evolved, and TikTok, it's not just TikTok, it's Instagram
Yeah,
and
yeah.
TikTok and YouTube. And we
But then
kind of
now you have Netflix coming up with all of these, like the latest one that I was just watching that you had told me about it.
Yeah, exactly. You are what you eat.
That's it. It's a very good one.
Amazing.
Really
But the
good.
reason why I like that one is
Yeah.
because they take identical twins, which for us in the research world, not us. I don't do research. I read a lot of research
No, but you
because of my
did.
profession.
Yeah,
No,
I mean-
yeah. But what I'm saying, I'm not like in a lab like doing research. But, however, what I wanted to say is that when we are looking at studies, any studies that has comparisons of identical twins,
Oh, yeah.
it is extremely helpful because
It like tickles you the right way.
well,
Yeah.
it's because you
Yeah.
have two people that are genetically the same, okay? So identical twins, and you are basically doing different treatments to see how that changes.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like how we always say everyone is so different, right? But what happens when you take two twins and you expose them to different things, right? So anytime a research study has identical twins in it, it's very, very informative.
It is.
So this Netflix documentary, which everyone should see, is called You Are What You Eat. And they take a couple, not just, like a few identical
I
twins.
think it's like 1, 2,
pairs.
3,
Yeah.
4. Like I think it's 4 or 5.
And
of
they
them,
put
yeah.
them on a, omnivore versus a vegan diet. And then they kind of explain their outcomes about everything under
And
the
they
sun.
do it in a way that's lighthearted.
Yeah.
It's
not a boring
not a boring document.
show.
Yeah, that it's very dry. No, it's actually like cool. Like it's
and the twins, like their personalities are like really great too.
they show that, and they're funny. Like their interactions with each other. And all
their
that.
personal life, their work,
and
like
you
what
get
they
invested
do.
in them because of that.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
become characters in a show. So it's pretty cool. So pair that up with this book. And
there's
really
so
cool.
many other
But yeah, that's
documentaries.
and that's what I'm saying. Like that's an example of the recent. There was another one also that I just saw like on Netflix scrolling the other
Forks and
day.
Knives.
Probably that's it. You see what I mean? So like it's
I watch
everywhere.
all of these. It's extremely informative.
Yeah, I mean, well, even more so for your profession. In the pediatric world, like nutrition is becoming a very big thing these days.
I am personally not, like, I'm going to keep it real with everyone. I'm not a vegan.
Oh, no, me neither, yeah.
However, when I read and look at these documentaries and all these things, and when I see the research behind it, like...
makes you question.
It really does make me question. I'm not committed to it.
Yeah, no.
But I think that's a me thing.
Me too.
It's not
personal.
that it's like that I don't believe in it.
No. It's a personal choice.
Yeah. And I actually know a lot of people that are like vegan during the week, and then on the weekends they do.
We'll talk about that. Yeah.
There's freegans too.
Yes. So we're going to keep it very light.
Yeah.
We're going to focus on vegan and omnivore. Because again, we will list out like the different variations of it, but I mean, again, right, we could just go on and on and on this topic.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep it very like concise to these things. If you guys want to hear more on like ones that we touch up on, definitely let us know, and we'll definitely do an episode solely on that. And then our choices.
Yeah.
Just choices. It's not backed
everyone
up on,
is this is very personal. We're talking about a person's diet, their everyday diet, and some people do this for religious purposes. Some people do this for like health purposes.
Yeah,
it's so many different reasons.
Yeah, there's so many reasons, and our personal reason, just because our choice is, I'm omnivore. I'm an
omnivore too.
Yeah, unfortunately, I really enjoy meat.
I don't think that's unfortunate though.
No, I know, but fortunate for like
I think
vegan
there's
or whatever,
pros and
like,
cons to it all,
and we will touch upon that because there are certain minerals and vitamins and just minerals in general that you could only get from animals, and then you have to finagle with that on if you're a vegan. So, and I chose to do vegan because vegan is very extreme. Okay, because you could be a vegetarian, you could be a pescatarian, and again we will mention all that, which kind of like helps out, in all those like things that you would lack in a vegan diet. But vegan is such an extreme opposite from being an omnivore that like I wanted to like do that black and white thing for us to explain to you guys, So let's start that off with, what is a vegan diet?
All right. So a vegan diet is a type.
Hold on. I'm sorry. This is a weekly. I forgot. And just to address the elephant in the episode, I'm wearing a Band-Aid.
Which you can barely see.
I had to like, there's a hydrocolloid Band-Aid on, and I put some makeup on it and kind of like, but yes, there is something on my face, and it's a cyst removal. I'm fine. You're not going to notice it in the next episode, like not in the next episode, but in a few episodes from now, because we're recording several in a day. You're not going to notice it. I'm fine. Everything's fine. It was just a cyst. It's removed now with a very competent, that was a word.
Follow her journey.
Yeah, I will post the journey on it. It's, whatever. A very competent plastic surgeon was able to remove it. It's going to be gone. But yeah, that's that. So anyway, back to this.
All right.
What's a vegan diet?
Okay. So a vegan diet is a type of eating plan, okay, that excludes all animal products. All of it. All animals. Okay.
If an animal made it in some way, somehow. So we're talking about eggs here, not about not eating chicken.
It is excluded.
Yeah. Honey. Okay. I think honey is not vegan either because animals are involved in it. If an animal is involved in the making of it, it's gone. It's out of it.
Yeah. So then this means that the individual following a vegan diet is not to consume any meat, poultry, fish, dairy, eggs, any products derived from an animal.
Exactly.
So instead, their diet consists entirely of plant-based foods.
Exactly.
Okay.
Only
so
plants.
Jules is going to take us a little bit into the history of vegan diets.
Because it's just...
And remember, our episode is vegan and omnivore.
Exactly.
Okay. So we are starting off with vegans.
Exactly. So the history of the vegan diet, it's rich and it's diverse. Okay. So this is actually, I didn't even know this until I started looking this up. And it's pretty interesting that it goes back all the way like thousands of years across like several cultures and a lot of civilizations. So its ancient roots, like the concept of it, of avoiding animal products, can be traced back to over 2,000 years ago. Okay. Ancient Indian and Eastern Mediterranean societies practiced forms of this diet that excluded meat and in some cases all animal products. So for instance, in ancient Greece, back to Greece.
Whether in Egypt or we're in Greece.
I don't make up the history, okay? Yeah. I'm only discussing it. But anyway, so in ancient Greece, a diet free from animal flesh was known. And the philosopher Pythagoras, known for the Pythagoras theorem, which I'm such a fan for, as you guys have seen the clips for it. Anyway, promoted benevolence among all species, advocating a meatless diet. So ethical and philosophical influences. So throughout history, various religious and philosophical groups have advocated for a diet free of animal products due to ethical reasons, which I could definitely see, because I eat meat, but I love cows.
Yeah.
Like I would love to own a cow, like to have a pet cow. And then so I'm very conflicted on that.
So you don't want that cattle anymore? The Highland cattle?
Yeah, I'd be screwed. You know, I don't know what I'd do with myself if I ever did own a cow. But anyway, so this includes Buddhism, Hinduism, and Jainism, who emphasize nonviolence and the ethical principle of not causing harm to any living beings. So modern veganism, the term vegan was coined in 1944 by Donald Watson, and he was a British woodworker who, among with others, formed the Vegan Society. They defined veganism not just as a diet, but as a lifestyle that also includes all forms of animal exploitation and cruelty, whether in food, clothing, or any purpose at all. So this goes beyond eating. And this was partly in response to the discovery of tuberculosis in Britain's dairy cows, which highlighted the health risks associated with consuming animal products. So then where did it grow and where did it gain its popularity? So in the 20th century, particularly in the 1960s and 70s, veganism began to gain more visibility and popularity as part of a broader vegetarian food movement that was happening in the US at that time. So this period saw the emergence of health-focused vegetarian diets, which laid the groundwork for what is today the modern vegan movement. And then the global influence. So as you could see today, veganism is recognized not just for its ethical and health benefits, but also for its positive impact on the environment, which we will definitely talk more about later on. I will highlight that. And then cultural and social aspects, the modern wave of veganism has also been influenced by social media, as we were just saying, and cultural trends, making it more mainstream. This has led to an increase in vegan food, products, and options available in restaurants and supermarkets worldwide, because that is true. I remember us growing up, vegan food was like super hard to find. Yeah. Now you have vegan restaurants.
Yep.
Like in very popular places in town. Like here in Coconut Grove, I said it. If we hit 100 Patreon patrons, she's gonna make me eat like all sorts of very odd vegan food that I'm very much not looking forward to.
But maybe you'll like it. Grilled watermelon with soy sauce, soaked in soy sauce.
Goosebumps.
Oh my god.
Immediately.
Yummy.
Darn. Like
in all honesty, I really don't know what that tastes like, so it could potentially be like my new favorite food, you know, but I don't know. It sounds crazy to me.
I really want to reach 100 patrons.
Yeah.
I really, really do, to help support the show, but I'm not looking forward to that day of having to eat that though.
I'm pretty sure like the vegans out there are like, it's like, well, that's how we feel when we see people eat like a massive
100%. 100%.
They get goosebumps.
110%. That's exactly how they feel.
It's really funny.
I totally get it. But yeah, if you want to see me possibly like have a conniption on camera.
Maybe you'll like it.
Yeah, maybe.
Don't knock it till you try it.
That will be a twist. That would be like
a plot twist. Julie loves it.
That would be a plot twist if I take like more than one bite out of that. But anyway, so what are some key concepts?
All right, so key components.
The
components of the vegan diet. All right, so heavy on the fruits and veggies. Okay, so these are a staple in a vegan diet, providing essential vitamins, minerals, and fiber. And honestly, I feel like, just talking a little bit about the history, like this really isn't like this it's so old, like, in history,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, how, like, I'm sure that any time that they were hungry or anything like that, they're not going to go outside and like go kill a chicken and then cook it, right?
No.
So they're going to have fruits and veggies and like all these things to eat. So legumes, beans, lentils, peas are really important because that is a big form of their protein.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everybody needs protein regardless of your
Yes,
diet.
exactly.
Like, you need it to survive.
Yeah.
You know?
And then nuts and seeds, that's going to provide like really healthy fats and also some protein as well. Whole grains, so foods like oats, brown rice, and whole wheat bread are a really good source of complex carbohydrates and fiber, so dietary fiber. And then plant-based dairy alternatives. Okay, so this includes products made from almonds, soy, oats, coconuts, and all of this is designed to replace milk and cheese and yogurt.
Yeah.
So foods in the vegan diet to avoid, because they're animal products or animal derived, all meats and poultry, like we said, beef, chicken, pork, all of that. I think those are like the obvious. Okay.
Yeah.
Seafood,
Gone.
also gone. Okay. Dairy products, like we said, milk, cheese, butter, yogurt, eggs. No eggs. Okay. This is
This is where,
it's a little bit blurry for some people.
for some vegans, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I mean,
But it is an animal product.
exactly. If you're
An egg is a baby
truly-
chicken.
Yeah. If you're truly, truly a vegan, like for real, you won't even do honey.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, so anything that an animal has any part in,
Yeah.
it's out. It's out.
Yeah. And then other animal derived ingredients includes gelatin. Okay. So gelatin was actually one that I did not know. It has pork in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
It's
a lot of
pretty
people
gross.
religiously
Yeah.
avoid Jello and stuff like that because it has gelatin in it.
Gelatin's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Don't look up how it's made. It's pretty nasty.
Honey. Okay. Certain forms of vitamin D that are derived from animal sources. So all of that is completely avoided. So that's why there's a lot of products that say they are vegan.
And that's why it's hard. The vegan diet is hard because you even have to be careful with vitamins.
Yeah.
Because of the way that those vitamins are derived. Like, where are they taken from? Are they taken from plants or animal sources? Like, you have to look at everything. If you're a true vegan, you know,
Yeah.
again, there's multiple ways that people, again, it's diet, you know, you pick and choose sometimes. But the people that go all vegan, it's hard.
Yeah. So, all right, Jules, well, let's dive into the nitty gritty, the health benefits of vegans.
A lot
Vegan diet.
Like we had said, you know, a lot of books and shows really harp on the health benefits that you could get from being a vegan. And the thing is that it offers and it has a large range of benefits spanning from health to even environmental and ethical concerns. Okay, so it's not only what you're consuming and how that's affecting you, it goes beyond that. Climate concerns and all those things. So anyway, so let's take a closer look at that. So cardiometabolic health. So vegan diets are associated with a lower risk of various cardiometabolic diseases. And this includes cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, as some studies have shown. And check out, as always, I always in the show notes, which is like the description part of these episodes. So either on YouTube or anywhere you're listening or watching this, go to the description of the show notes. I list out all of our sources and citations down there. So weight management. This is a big one that people even start to do this for, you know? So many studies indicate that vegans tend to have a lower BMI and are less likely to be overweight. This is partly due to a lower intake of saturated fats and a higher intake of dietary fiber. Fiber is key, guys.
Yeah.
Which helps overall, you know, just better your satiety. I can never say that word.
Satiety.
Can never say it.
I mean, the word is satiated, and are you, but like the actual noun, is it a noun? I don't even know. Satiety.
Whatever. AKA your appetite.
Yeah, I'm
your
not an
appetite
English
control.
major.
And therefore weight control. It has a reduced risk of certain cancers, which is another big thing that's been trending. Reduced risk in certain cancers. A lot of people have started doing this because there's a massive uptick, which catch our medical news recaps. There's been a large like uptick in cancers, especially for the younger population, which wasn't seen many years ago. And now we're seeing that. So a lot of people have turned over to the vegan diet because of this. So some research suggests that a vegan diet may decrease the risk of certain types of cancers, particularly those related to the digestive system. I mean, that makes sense. And this is due to higher intake of fruits, veggies, and that fiber, guys.
Yeah. Also, I feel like in a vegan diet, you are definitely more focused on whole foods.
Yeah.
It's a lot more plant-based,
Not fast food.
non-inflammatory.
Yeah. Less processed. What's the word? Ultra processed foods.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Improved kidney function. So a plant-based diet may contribute to better kidney function, especially beneficial for individuals managing diabetes. Also, low blood pressure and improved cholesterol levels have been seen. So these vegan diets are beneficial in managing and reducing the risk of hypertension and improving cholesterol profiles, which are significant factors in cardiovascular health. Sorry, there's like a massive bird flying out there. Wow, what is wrong with me today? Between the lizards and the birds, whatever. Diabetes management. If you guys are just listening, I was still like talking and looking outside at a massive bird that flew out of my window. Anyway, so diabetes management, as we had mentioned, this is massive for the vegan community. It really, really does. There's a lot of studies that link to diabetes management as a positive correlation with the vegan diet. So these diets can help in bettering the blood sugar levels and control, and might even reduce the complications associated with diabetes. So
And in the documentary Forks Over Knives,
Yeah.
I specifically remember this one middle-aged man that had pretty advanced diabetes, and I think he was potentially going to start insulin, if I remember correctly. And then, so he did a complete switch to a vegan diet, and he was able to, I think in a very short span of time, like maybe a few months, he was able to bring all his levels of like sugar and all that stuff back to normal.
wow.
Yeah, like completely back to normal and completely come off his diabetes medications.
That's incredible.
And it's, but we do say this to a lot of people. You can reverse a lot of this if you start early. Once it's too late, it's too late.
Absolutely.
All right. So what are the environmental benefits? So a big motivator for vegan diets is environmental benefits. Okay.
Yeah. It goes beyond dieting.
Yeah. It's beyond dieting. It's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. So, I mean, I can make a whole list.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people do whole podcasts.
Yeah,
on
exactly. On just this.
Yeah.
All right. So, number one, reduced greenhouse gas emissions. So, vegan diets lead to a significantly lower greenhouse gas emission compared to the diets that include animal products. This can be because the lower demand for livestock production. Livestock production is a big source of greenhouse gases, including methane, nitric oxide, carbon dioxide.
Cow farts are a real thing.
Yeah. That's disgusting. Wow. Just with that, I want to be a vegan. Jesus.
It's true.
I mean, really, do I need more reasons to be
Like, honestly, cow farts are a huge source of methane.
No, yeah. I mean,
It's like, it's
that
crazy.
is what makes it smell that way. It's the methane. I'm telling you. Anyways, okay. So also, because of the efficient use of resources producing plant-based foods, it generally requires less land, water, and energy compared to raising animals or food. Because of the reduced land use and deforestation, animal agriculture is a leading cause of deforestation, as forests are cleared to create pastures and grow feed crops.
Yeah.
Feed crops. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
so feed like what we feed animals. with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like, in order to like have all these animals, you also have to grow the crops to feed the animals.
So
it's just like a whole big
we
thing.
are like knocking down forests and stuff like that, which is
incredibly
important
yeah.
to give food to the animals
For us to eat.
for us to eat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So biodiversity and preservation. So by reducing the demand for animal agriculture, vegan diets help in preserving biodiversity and reducing the ecological footprint of human food consumption.
What we literally just said.
Just said. Ethical benefits. I think the most obvious
clear.
one is animal welfare.
Yeah.
So veganism supports animal rights by avoiding products and industries that exploit animals for food, clothing, or any purpose at all. Okay. So that's why in a lot of products you will see when they say this is vegan. The diet inherently opposes the often cruel conditions found in factory farming, which, by the way, if you look at those
horrific
videos, it's disgusting.
Horrific.
It's disgusting. Like,
stuff of
I
nightmares.
eat animals, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But those videos, I've actually never etten KFC ever again.
Oh, really?
Never.
I haven't seen that.
I saw a documentary
Yeah.
for KFC, and I'm sorry, KFC. I mean, actually, I'm not sorry. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Or maybe the video that I saw was like one particular place,
Yeah.
but It was bad.
I haven't seen that, but I've heard of it. You're not the first person that I've heard that
I
from.
actually stopped. It traumatized me so much that I just never found it appetizing ever again.
Oh my God, it's horrible what they do to like chicks. Like,
Well, stop it. I'm just like remembering that.
yeah, that's a part I've heard, and like I've heard of not only KFC but like multiple like
Yeah.
you know
We're
big
talking about a lot of people
yeah
here.
yeah. Anyway,
So, reduced animal exploitation. So, by not consuming animal products, vegans directly reduce the demand for industries that breed, raise, slaughter billions of animals annually, which often involves significantly cruelty and poor living conditions for the animals. And then the risks of vegan diets is really important to talk about too. I think these are some of the main health concerns. Definitely some of the main health concerns for me as a pediatrician when I see kids,
yeah.
that are on vegan diets. I'm not saying that
Yeah, that's controversial.
that is very controversial, and that's not what we're about. So I'm not I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the nutritional deficiencies. So vitamin B12. This vitamin is crucial for nerve function, okay, and the production of DNA and red blood cells. So it's naturally found in significant amounts only in animal products.
Yeah.
So vegans can become deficient in B12, leading to anemia and nervous system damage. However, there is a lot of things now that are produced purposely to have additional vitamin B12 and all of that so that it helps out with that.
Exactly.
Iron. So there are two types of iron, heme and non-heme iron. Heme iron, which is more easily absorbed by the body, is found in animal products, whereas non-heme iron is found in plants. So vegans might struggle to absorb enough iron from plant sources, which can lead to anemia characterized by fatigue and weakness. There's a lot of things that can come up with symptoms of anemia. Calcium is another one. Important for bone health. Calcium is abundantly found in dairy products, as we all know. So vegans need to seek alternative sources of calcium, such as fortified plant milks or leafy greens, to really meet their calcium needs, because inadequate calcium intake can lead to weakened bones and a lot of other things.
A lot of things, yeah.
But that's the most common one.
Right.
So omega-3 fatty acids, these are vital for the heart and brain health and primarily found in fish. So vegans can find it challenging to consume adequate amount of omegas from plant sources like flax seeds and walnuts, which might affect heart health as well. And then vitamin D, often obtained through the sun exposure and fortified by dairy products. Vitamin D is essential for bone health. It's also really important for your immune system as well. So vegans may need to rely on fortified foods and supplements, especially in the areas with less sunlight as well.
Yeah.
And then zinc, the mineral, is crucial for the immune system as well, and wound healing, which is really important. And then plant sources of zinc are less easily absorbed by the body, which can lead to deficiencies as well.
So that's the thing. You could find these minerals in plant-based sources, but the thing is that the chemical structure of it is different sometimes, and it's not the way that our body could easily just absorb it and use it, So you got to figure things out, and it's just hard. The vegan diet, the hardcore, like strict vegan diet, is very hard.
Yeah, I think it's doable.
It's definitely doable.
I think it's doable. Do I think it's easy? No. Do I think you should probably be under the supervision or guidance of a nutritionist that's experienced in vegan diets? Absolutely.
Especially when you're
new.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's important to people to really educate themselves on nutrition in general and the basis of nutrition and what our body needs exactly. Take this book, and then you can use that to incorporate certain things in your diet. Because if you just start, like, one day, I'm going to be honest, like myself, like I cannot just go and just be like, tomorrow I'm going to be vegan.
No, not me. I know there's plenty of people that can and have, but I
don't think
right
that that's safe. Like,
that's true too.
I don't think that that's really safe. You're cutting out a major portion of your diet.
We'll talk about that too, about how to
Yeah. And then, so truly, I feel like you need to know in your foods, what do you need to have?
Yeah.
And then if you're not having this, then you need to think about what you're not having so you can go and look for other things that do have it.
Exactly. It's important.
It's important. And it's not as easy as it sounds.
People underestimate that diet is your body's chemistry.
Yeah.
What you're inputting is literally, what you are, what you eat. Like
you're consuming what you're eating.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds stupid.
No.
You're consuming these important.
What you are.
Yeah, exactly.
What makes you you? Like, it's literally the building blocks of your everyday being.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So your whole body is just a chemical reaction happening every second of your life.
Yeah.
You know, and what you're inputting into that chemical reaction is what you're eating.
Yeah, and what you're not inputting either.
Exactly. So you got to treat it as as weird as that may sound.
You have to balance it.
Yeah, you have to treat it like a chemical reaction, because that is literally what you inputting like food in you is a chemical reaction that's happening in your body. So you're gonna absorb or you're gonna remove things. It's gonna a whole bunch of things. You're consuming something, right? So it's like when you drink alcohol. There's a chemical reaction that's happening, and you feel drunk, you feel tipsy, check out our episode on, what was it, on the alcohol flush syndrome, is it?
Alcoholic like reaction. The flushing that you get from alcohol.
Then that leads me to think also allergies. Like, look at how there are people that are allergic to certain foods or are sensitive to certain foods.
Yeah.
So all of that.
I can imagine being vegan is like very hard if you have like celiac disease as well.
Exactly. So it's a chemical reaction that's happening in your body, you guys. It's not just something as easy as like, oh, it's just what you eat. No, it's more than that.
And it's your fuel source.
Exactly.
So you need to be very careful about it.
Yeah.
All right. So other considerations to take in for vegans.
Yeah. All right.
Veganism.
So protein. While plant-based sources can provide protein, as she had mentioned, like with the legumes and nuts and all that stuff, they must be well planned to ensure that all essential amino acids are consumed. Incomplete protein intake can affect muscle and overall health. Protein is extremely important, and it's one of the biggest things to worry about in the vegan diet. So potential for over-reliance on processed foods. So some vegans might rely heavily on processed vegan foods, which can be high in calories, sugars, and fats, but low in nutritional value, which I understand, because if you're a very busy person, you probably will end up looking for something that's processed because of its higher shelf life and all that stuff, I mean, it only makes sense. Social and dining challenges. This is changing, at least for bigger cities. I know that in smaller cities, it's still hard, but bigger cities like here, like in Miami, New York, Chicago, just bigger metropolitan cities, we're seeing a lot of vegan options, vegan restaurants, whole sections in grocery stores that are just vegan and stuff like that. So,
well, I think it's also, again, social media.
Big time.
I think that
it's fueling
social media has shown given us such access to other opinions and lifestyles and stuff like that people viewpoints exactly. So it definitely has its pros and cons. And also I think America in general, which I'm very happy, America in general has shifted a lot to focus more on nutrition and fitness and all of that. We still have a huge problem with obesity and just not really healthy lifestyle practices.
The American diet sucks.
The American culture is very and I'm an American, so
am I.
And I'm still here in the US. I'm not going anywhere, okay? But we do have a big problem with obesity. We do have a huge problem with the nutrition sources that we use. We have ultra processed foods. We don't have enough options for those type of foods that are not ultra processed.
Yeah, I'll tell you, and even the way that we feed and we raise livestock, I am not an egg eater. I don't like egg at all. Now, every time I've traveled to Canada to visit our friends and stuff,
you eat it,
I will eat scrambled eggs with no cheese, no nothing. Nothing. And I'm like, damn, this is actually good.
It tastes different.
Here, you give me scrambled eggs with nothing on it, if it's not smothered in cheese or something like that,
I'm like, eat it.
This is just too eggy. That's my, and I'm like, how, that doesn't even make any sense. I will not. And when we lived in Grenada for the 2.5 years that we lived there, I ate egg. I ate egg.
Well, there is a difference, and you taste it. You taste the difference. I tasted
really
the butter when I went to France. I tasted the difference of the butter, and I was like, "Oh my god,
it's incredible!
What is this?"
No wonder they cook everything in butter.
Yeah, and really, you look at the diets over there, and you're like, "How is that they have better?"
They eat this delicious assortment of croissants and French baguettes,
and it's very normal. But over here, it's like I had a croissant, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, you're gonna die."
Yeah, no, that's it. You're gonna gain 5 pounds.
You're gonna gain 5 pounds. You have blocked arteries. calories,
lunch is like,
just go get a calf right now.
their lunch over there in France, I would always see it at any little cafe or whatever, like these delicious, I'm like, my mouth is watering right now. These delicious like sandwiches, baguette sandwiches. and
Baguettes,
stuff.
oh,
And, like,
so
you just see
delicious.
the most beautiful,
A little
slim, beautiful French woman, you know, eating this baguette. I'm like, she's eating carbs. And look at her.
Yeah.
Look at her.
But again, this is our mentality.
Exactly.
This is our mentality.
But it's
and
also the way our food is made here is
it's made
different.
here. It's different. It's absolutely
it's
different.
different.
100%. And I'm a full believer in
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm actually happy that there's a lot more options for vegan diets and it's just a lot more inclusive. Because before we used to like, maybe people used to be like, oh, she's vegan. What am I going to give them?
Exactly.
What am I going to give them? And then now it's not like that. And I think it's great that we have other options.
Even chain restaurants and stuff like that now have vegan options.
Yeah.
Which back then it was like really hard for people just to go out to a restaurant because it's like, there's nothing really for me to eat, you know? Now here, okay, the Cuban diet, we have Cuban backgrounds. The Cuban diet's like heavy, at least here in the
It ain't
States.
vegan.
Not vegan at all. Heavy on the pork. Not vegan at all. But now, incredibly enough, I think I saw it in one of these magazines that they like promote new restaurants and all that stuff. I saw it last night. There's like a Cuban vegan restaurant opening up.
Wow.
I was like,
amazing. I love it.
this is blowing my mind right now.
I love
Like blowing my mind that we've actually done that. But yeah, it's just changing a lot. So social and dining challenges, as we had talked about, like adhering to the vegan diet can sometimes be socially challenging as it requires more planning when eating just out and attending social events where options might be limited. And that I've seen too in weddings and like conventions and business things, like the vegan, there's always, at least in the ones that I've attended, there's like a vegan option available now versus like just a couple of years ago. Good luck if you found like a vegan option. So yeah.
All right, so let's talk about managing the risks. So if you are going to be on a vegan diet, you should be planning carefully to include all the variety of foods, which is kind of what we had already touched upon. And also you need to use fortified foods to consider other supplements, like how we had mentioned B12, vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids. And then also you should regularly check your nutrient level through blood tests. A lot of people actually decline this. You know, if they're not having any symptoms and they're not having anything, they decline it. And I think that that's a personal choice.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, and I, you know, as a provider, I don't check blood tests unless I need to.
Yeah, exactly.
I have people all the time. They're like, oh, well, can we do some blood tests? And I'm like, for what?
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
For you to feel better? And it's like a lot of, you know, it takes off a lot of anxiety on a lot of people.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like it's not necessary.
Yeah. I get it.
But all right, Jules, what are some common misconceptions about veganism?
All right. So a lot of people think that vegan food is boring and restrictive. And look, it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that that's a full-on myth because it really was. I remember growing up as a child. I'm 34 now, almost 35. And vegan food was like just tofu and like something very basic.
Soy
like that.
based.
Soy. Yeah. Like there wasn't, now there's like stuff that looks and tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
You know? So now it's just very different. So one of the most widespread myths is this, that it just lacks variety and flavor and it only consists on salads and fries.
Yeah.
Not true, which I am not against the fry part. However, this couldn't be further from the truth right now. Vegan diets are just rich and diverse and they include just a whole wide range of fruits, veggies, grains, nuts, seeds, like everything. And this all can create like very delicious and satisfying meals. Think about it. Some of my favorite salads are ones that have nuts in them and stuff. Like, love them.
Yeah.
So vegans are always vitamin and mineral deficient. Not true.
Not if you're doing it correctly.
Exactly. So another, which we harped on hard earlier. So another common misconception is that vegans are at high risk of nutritional deficiencies, particularly in vitamins like B12 and iron. While it's true that vegans need to be mindful of their nutrient intake, a well-planned vegan diet can provide all the necessary nutrients. Many vegans use fortified foods, as she had mentioned, or supplements to ensure that they're getting everything that they need. Yeah. Then that vegans always try to force their beliefs on others. This is not true, but this could be also said for like religious people, you know? So no. And if you have somebody that's a friend that does things like that, even like it could be for politics or whatever, it could be for anything. And it's just a shitty person, in my opinion. But anyway, no, not all vegans are like that. Some people believe that vegans are overly aggressive in promoting their lifestyle and trying to convert others. Like I said, no. While there are certainly vocal advocates for, like I said, in any movement, you're going to find it. And, just respect each other's choices. Okay, guys? Like, no, the vegans are just normal people. And veganism is just a fad. Not true, as I just said in the history part of it.
Yeah.
It's been around for thousands of years, mostly because it's part of cultures. It's part of some religious practices, So, no. Some view veganism as a temporary trend right now, mostly because of Netflix and all social media and stuff like that. But like I said, it's not true. It has deep historical roots and is supported by ethical, environmental, and health reasons. It's growing in popularity, and it reflects a broader shift towards more conscious and sustainable living rather than a just fleeting trend. Eating vegan is expensive, and I could totally see that because eating like organic is expensive, so I could see how you could like kind of think that. But there's this perception, and while specialty vegan products can be pricey, the staples of a vegan diet, such as grains, beans, veggies, and fruits, are often affordable. In many cases, adopting a vegan diet can actually lead to savings on grocery bills. Actually, when I lived in Grenada, there were people that switched over to vegetarian diets because it was cheaper.
Yeah.
Because, in Grenada, okay, so if you were there with like your spouse or your partner that's in medical school, they are only in medical school and they can't work, And then that spouse, like for instance, me that I went with Mario, the visa is only a tourist visa that you have to like renew every 6 months. I had to be renewing it or whatever if I was there for 6 months or longer, which wasn't usually the case, but I had to do it once. Wow, tangent for no good reason. Anyway, but it was more expensive, and I was unallowed to work because of that visa.
Wow.
So there was no way of me getting income back then, actually physically working. And back then, there wasn't like all these avenues of working online and stuff like that. It's a lot easier now.
Yeah.
I wish it were like that back then. But
Yeah.
back then, it really wasn't like that, especially if I say that I'm living overseas.
Yeah.
Even worse. So, and then the meat, since you're living in an island, like it was just chicken. The easiest thing was fish, and we heavily relied on fish back then.
Yeah.
We ate more fish than chicken, back then, which probably was why we were thinner and all that now. But that's a whole other, okay, anyway. So yeah, it's different. Anyway, so vegan diets lack protein. So we had harped on this. It's a common myth, and you can get protein from numerous plant-based protein sources, including legumes, tofu, quinoa, and nuts. I love quinoa. Honestly, with a variety of these foods, vegans can easily meet their protein needs.
Yeah. I think it's also people need to just acquire the taste for it a little bit. No, it's not going to taste like a piece of meat.
No.
No. But I think you need to shift your mindset a little bit and say like, okay, it's actually not bad. Okay. It's just something I'm not used to. So it's out of my comfort zone, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a big thing. Like my dad, Lord.
I was literally just going to say like, it's a generational thing.
Oh my God. My dad, if I were to put a vegan platter in front of him, he'd be like, what the fuck is this?
I would. Oh my God, can we do that for Patreon?
Yeah, I'm going to just videotape my dad.
We should do that for Patreon.
He's literally...
Stay tuned for that.
He's just gonna look at it and just be like, the fuck is this? Like, where's the cow? Where is the cow?
Or the chicken or whatever.
The chicken or whatever. I'm just going to tell him it's like pulled chicken.
Oh my God.
And I just want to record his reaction to it.
That would be...
And my dad is already like suspicious of me because I like in the house, I'm known to try these like healthy alternatives. So my dad, when I'm cooking, he's like, he just looks at the stove and he's
My
like,
mom does the same shit with me.
He's like, what? He's like, ¿qué es eso? And then I'm like, oh, it's such and such, dish. It's just like a little bit of like a healthier version. And he's like, ahora sí.
Yep.
Ahora sí. Oh,
my mom's always like, you didn't put enough aceite, oil in there. I'm like, it doesn't need more than this.
Yeah.
Like, we really, it's fine. It's, always. But anyway. So yeah. And then the last misconception. So vegan and plant-based are the same. No. While the terms are often used interchangeably, there's a distinction between vegan and following a plant-based diet. Veganism is a lifestyle choice, and it goes beyond just what you consume.
Yeah.
And it avoids all forms of animal exploitation and cruelty, not just in diet, but in every aspect of your life. So in contrast, a plant-based diet focuses solely on dietary choices, so what you're eating, primarily for health reasons without necessarily addressing other forms of animal exploitation. So like, leather-based products and stuff like that. That's why you see a lot of like new things that are vegan leather and whatever.
Yeah.
And that's made out of mushrooms and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting how they are able to do that. I mean, it looks like freaking leather.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
I know. I mean, and at the end of the day, if it's like just better for our ecosystem in general, like why not?
Yeah.
So
I agree. Yeah.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between vegetarians and veganism.
Because there is like a little bit of some people just, at least for like our parents, for instance, they're like, oh, vegetarian and veganism, same
thing. Yeah.
No.
So it's not. So vegetarianism is a diet excludes the consumption of animal flesh. Okay. So this means vegetarians do not eat meat, poultry, fish, or seafood. However, there are variations within the vegetarianism based on what animal products might be included. So lacto-ovo vegetarians eat dairy products and eggs. Lacto vegetarians eat dairy products but avoid eggs, and then ovo vegetarians eat eggs but not dairy products. So it could get pretty confusing. Yeah. And then you have, so this is not vegetarians, but now you have the pescatarians.
Exactly.
Okay. So this includes fish in their diet, but avoid other meats, though not strictly considered vegetarians by all definitions, okay?
Because you're including fish.
Yeah, and then you have flexitarians, okay? So primarily follow a vegetarian diet, but occasionally eat meat or fish. So flexitarians reminds me a lot about, I had an old friend of mine in medical school that she was vegan, but she always used to say, she's like, well, I'm a freegan. And then, so it was basically mainly consisting of a vegan diet. However, if she went to an event or something like that had a type of food that was not vegan, she would still eat it because she didn't want to be wasteful. Mm-hmm. So she was against that. And again, it goes back to the lifestyle portion of it, not just the diet portion of it.
Right.
So she used to call herself a freegan. So if it's like free and it goes to waste or something, then they consider themselves a freegan.
Huh.
Yeah. So veganism, on the other hand, is more strict. Okay, so
when
again,
comparing it to these that we just mentioned,
exactly, the pescatarians, the flexitarians, vegetarians. Again, like we already said, they avoid everything that's animal based. Okay, so key differences between the veggie eaters and the veganers. Okay. So the dietary restriction, it's going to be, while both diets avoid eating meat, vegans are more strict and they avoid everything that's animal derived. The lifestyle impact, so veganism extends beyond the diet. It's also just a lifestyle practice in general, and they avoid any use of animal derived products. And then ethical stance. Both diets can be adopted for ethical reasons, but veganism takes a broader approach.
All right. So maybe you're interested now in maybe switching up a little bit. So like she said, you don't have to do it right off the bat. You could kind of like, finagle your way. So how would you transition to a vegan diet? It could be a rewarding and healthful change, but it's important to approach it thoroughly. Okay. So do your research to ensure that you're getting all the nutrients you need. So this is going to be a very simple, very like basic guide. So first, educate yourself, as we have harped on. Before making any changes, it's helpful to understand the reasons behind veganism and what a vegan diet actually entails. This includes learning about the health benefits and the environmental impact and reasons. So use resources like books, documentaries, and websites. There's a lot of them now. Social media has helped that out big time. And this will provide you just a lot more information and education on this. As she had said, start slow. Don't jump on it. This is really hard. You don't have to do the vegan diet overnight. Begin by incorporating more plant-based meals into your diet. You might start with one vegan day a week, such as meatless Mondays. I know a lot of people that do that. And gradually increase as you feel comfortable. I can't do that in mine because my mom will just like lose her mind.
Yeah.
But, it's a good option. So modify your favorite meals. This is another really good option. Look at the meals you already enjoy and see how you can make them vegan. For example, use plant-based milk in your breakfast cereal. Make your favorite chili without meat, or try vegan cheese in your sandwiches. A lot of options now. Step 4, explore plant-based alternatives. So familiarize yourself with vegan alternatives for commonly used animal products. This includes items like the almond milks, the soy milks, vegan cheeses, then the meat substitutes like tofu, tempeh, all that. So experiment to find which products you like best, because they definitely have different flavors. And then step 5, plan your meals. Planning is really important, especially when you're starting this off. And it's important so you could know how to maintain a balanced diet, because again, you may be missing out on something that's important. Make sure your meals include the variety of the fruits and veggies and grains, and of course that protein, so include their beans, lentils, things that you like. And this will just help you make sure that you stay in good health. Step 6, learn to read labels. This is super important in any diet, but especially like something restrictive like the vegan diet. So start checking the ingredient list of packaged foods to avoid animal-derived ingredients. This can include gelatin, rennet, and certain forms of vitamin D. Okay, yeah. Familiarizing yourself with these details can help you make more informed choices while shopping. Yeah. And this is that's just good advice for everything, for every sort of diet. And then step 7, supplement wisely. So certain nutrients are harder to obtain from a vegan diet. So consider taking supplements or eating fortified foods to meet those needs. Step 8, connect with others. Okay. Social media is great for that. Okay. There's a big movement on that. So you could easily incorporate yourself in there. Join vegan or plant-based groups online in a community. They offer advice, maybe
the
even
Facebook
recipes.
groups are great.
Exactly. They give each other recipe tips or like how to do this or how to do that. You could even make friends out of it. And then of course, lastly, step 9, be patient and be flexible, especially in the beginning, because transitioning to a vegan diet is a significant lifestyle change. So be patient with yourself, allow flexibility. It's okay to just make gradual changes and then learn from challenges that you encounter and stuff like that. It's okay to make mistakes. This is not, you don't need a A+ on this. It's just listen to yourself and do the best you can. All right, so stay tuned for next week's episode where we're going to touch upon the omnivore diet and more.
Exactly. So we talked about the vegan portion of it. Now we are going to do the second part versus omnivore.
Okay. Exactly. And it's going to be more than just the omnivore diet. We're going to touch upon like
health risks, like how it benefits the environment, kind of pretty much comparing what we just talked about with the vegan diet, except now omnivore.
Okay. Exactly.
And then part of our second episode will be the conclusion at the end.
Our thoughts
and all of that, because vegan was definitely a bit larger for our show notes. So we'll talk about our opinions. So definitely check out our following episode next week and then join us on the conversation.
Exactly. If you have anything that you want to include in the omnivore diet, or you think that we missed out, or whatever it is on the vegan portion, let us know.
Yeah, we're really active on Threads, IG, honestly, everywhere.
Twitter, everywhere. So let us know wherever, on YouTube, in the comments, wherever it is that you're seeing this, let us know.
All right, guys. Check you. Oh, no, not check you.
See you on the next one.
Yeah, see you on the next one. All right. Okay. We've done this 1,000 times and I still can't get it straight. Bye.